Thank you, Shahida. Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to see all the faces here in solidarity, because solidarity and inclusive solidarity is vital all the time, but particularly on a day like this when the EDL are here. Because the EDL's project, in a way, is to spread fear and hatred. And if we respond to that with more fear and more hatred, we're just fitting in with their agenda. So our task today, our project today, is to stand here in solidarity together, knowing that, as other people have said, love and solidarity and inclusiveness can overcome hatred. There's a lot in the world at the moment. There's an escalation going on, and I'm so proud to be part of Sheffield, where we are able to come together in solidarity. I'm just thinking of recent events in Charleston in the USA, where a young man, a young racist, went into a church and killed 9 devout Christians. A shocking act. And he was intent on spreading fear and hatred, and he was trying to start a race war, people say. And as President Obama pointed out, that is a terrorist act, and he is and should be regarded as a terrorist. More recently, a week ago, there was a terrorist attack in Tunisia, in Sousse, where a young man, probably similar age, went on the rampage and killed 38 people, and we hear an awful lot about that because 30 of them were British. It's a shocking thing, and it's reported in the press quite rightly. But there's something that's less reported in the press, but I think is really important. And that's that the staff in the hotels, the Tunisian people, the workers there, formed a human protective shield to stop him moving on to the next door hotel and massacring many more people. They saved many lives. And as it is reported in the Independent, actually one of the few papers to really report it, they said to him, "We're Muslims, you're going to have to get past us if you want to kill more British tourists." And they protected those tourists. That's a really important thing to know, I think, when the EDL are going to be here saying bad things about Muslims. Those people risk their life, really, in a very real way, to protect British tourists, and that doesn't get reported as much. In fact, the Daily Mail online reported, because there was a photograph of a line of people, why are these onlookers standing there? Why aren't they doing something? And they were doing a massive thing. So what fuels hatred and fear, in my understanding, is injustice and poverty. When people are feeling they don't have things, when they feel they're having things taken away from them, and when they feel the injustice of our society, whatever role they're in, whatever religion they are, whatever community they identify with, they are likely, or there's a risk that they will be drawn to some sort of hatred response. So I was reading the papers this morning, and I'm reading that the government, the Tory government, is going to remove inheritance tax for people who have property worth up to £1 million, and the justification is family values. Can you believe it? This is being done in the name of family values, so that people can pass on their property to their children. But what about the parents who don't have £1 million, who don't even have hardly anything at all? What do they do for their children? Why is it only the privileged that help their children? Why is family values only talked about for the privileged? I think that's really shocking. So my final message is about inclusive solidarity. And when we feel ourselves that we want to attack somebody because we hate what they're doing, we can certainly hate what they're doing, or certainly be against what they're doing. But as other speakers have said, they are individuals, just like you and me. We need to find the fellow feeling that we are all human beings in this together. And there are people, and there may be some there, but there are people in other places too, who are trying to divide us. But at the end of the day, inclusive solidarity is what's going to make this city the great place it is. continue that way. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. The UKIP populism, they tried to wind things up. And they tried to wind things up in such a way that really made people fearful. If you think of the headlines that we've had from the press and the media over the last years, it's always attacking immigrants. It's always attacking asylum seekers. And then it goes on to benefits. And then it'll go on to single parents. Look, we've lived long enough to know that these are things that are repeated. And when they come, we have to be prepared to stand up and argue against them and fight back. And I just want to finish with this message, really. And it's the message of hope. We don't pander to the politics of despair and of division. We go for hope and unity, and that we're prepared always to stand together and fight together. It's with that in mind, really, that I want to introduce Louise Hay. Louise said before the election she would stand with us. And it's after the election, and she's standing with us. So I want to give a good warm welcome to the newly elected MP for Heeley, Louise Hay.
Thank you, Trevor. It's so fantastic to see so many of you here today to all come together to celebrate the respect we show in Sheffield for diversity, for multiculturalism and for internationalism, because we have such a proud history of internationalism in our city. Across the Labour movement, colleagues such as Paul Blomfield, who spoke earlier, campaigned against apartheid in the 1980s, campaigned against Pinochet, and of course we are renowned as a city of sanctuary across the UK, welcoming and offering shelter and protection for those fleeing the most appalling circumstances from across the world. In Sheffield, we do not tolerate difference, we celebrate it. And it is fantastic to see so many of you celebrating the rich diversity our city has to offer, instead of condemning those who speak English as a second language, as our media has done in recent weeks. We celebrate and we welcome the diversity and the impact it has on our culture, on our society and on our economy. We have come together today to celebrate that diversity, but we have also come together because we have all made a conscious decision that we are rejecting the divisive, racist politics of the EDL. And these politics have no place in a city as progressive as Sheffield is. And it is more important now than ever before that we do reject these politics, because unfortunately these politics no longer just occupy the fringes of our political debate. These are the same politics of division and hatred that the Tories and UKIP have attempted to surface over the last 5 years, and they have been successful in doing so. The appalling events in Rotherham have been sought to be exploited to divide our communities, and this is exactly what we've seen being done, dividing the working poor versus those on benefits, the deserving poor versus the undeserving poor, the old versus the young, and the British workers versus migrant workers. And friends, this is nothing more than a stroke of genius, because what it has done is served to distract people from the real causes of our insecurity and our misery. Distract us from austerity and the failure of a political and financial elite. And it is this politics of division which have enabled the bedroom tax, which have enabled the closure of refuge centres, which have enabled attacks on public sector workers and cuts to the most vulnerable in our society, that have brought the EDL here today to Sheffield in the hope that they can hoodwink us, but we have shown them that they can't, and we have shown them that we reject them. And it is exactly the opposite of those politics that have brought us together. It's the politics of hope, the politics of hope for a better society, a fairer society, a more just economy, and a city and a country that welcomes everyone, regardless of their faith, their gender, their class, their sexuality, or their race. And we have shown them today that it is possible to build that hope. Friends, thank you for coming today, and thank you for having me.
Just to start with Bishop Ralph.
Good afternoon. I've really nothing more to add than's already been said, except my voice, really. It's just, well, next week will be my full year here in Sheffield, and I've been to a number of gatherings like this where ordinary, decent folk have come together to express their commitment for and their support for the whole idea of multiculturalism, etc. here in Sheffield, and to proclaim that for other people to hear. And it seems to me that the events of today are a strong reminder that we need to continue to proclaim that message loud and clear. So I thank you for being present today and allowing the opportunity, giving the opportunity for us to proclaim that message loud and clear. So thank you very much.
I'm now going to introduce Councillor Nasima Akhtar, who's the Councillor for the Nether Edge Ward, who's going to say a few words now.
Good afternoon, Sheffield. Everybody said everything. I don't want to add anything. Just wanted to say that thanks to EDL, that gives us this pleasure to be united here today to show this is my Sheffield. This is our Sheffield. We don't care what minority people think, that we should be divided or we should be racist, we should be whatever. But you know what? This is humanity, and we are all human race. We've proven here today that nobody can divide us, and this is where we stand together. We will be standing together for those victims in Rotherham. Nobody have to tell us and send us hated messages to give them the justice, because they will get justice. Our legal system will do that. They are there for that. However, I just wanted to say one thing, that Sheffield is my city. I feel proud, and I am sending a message to EDL today that, look, I am outside my house. I'm open here, standing with my Sheffield fellows, and they are my real sisters, brother. They are my community. I am not scared. They are not scared. You are not welcome. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. Thank you.
We've got a little surprise for you. It's not a speaker, it's somebody who's going to do a little song, and hopefully you might join in as well.
Ain't no sunshine in the EDL. It's not warm when they're around. No real sunshine till they're gone. Drive them right out of town every time they come around. Wonder this time where they've gone. Until you keep everyone. Ain't no truth, just fear and lies, and hatred's what they sell in their civilized disguise. I know, 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 we gotta agitate. I know, I know, I know, we gotta educate. I know, I know, I know, we gotta organize. I know, I know, I know. Need to expose their racist lies. Ain't no sunshine in EDL. No real sunshine till they're gone. Only darkness if we fail to welcome all with open arms. This land just won't be free anytime they come around. Anytime they come around. Every time they come around. Anytime they come around.